Hello, everybody, and welcome to Steinel America's Standalone Solutions Easy Install and Commissioning for Contractors micro webinar. Today's webinar will be presented by our General Manager, Sean Lafferty, and our Northeast Sales Manager, Sean Stefaniak. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat window or the questions window, and we will get to them. Thank you, and here is Sean.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. So, okay, thanks everybody for taking some time to join us today. This is our second webinar focused primarily on the contractor side of the business, and with a strong focus on what makes us easier to install and more cost-effective out in the field. We did one last month, which was all about the DCS, the Digital Control Solution. So today is going to be a little bit more focused on our pre-existing or more traditional standalone business and how that really can help drive costs down on your projects and help you increase your margins while meeting code and getting things done quickly and simply. So that's the nature of today's discussion. But for those of you who are kind of new to Steinel, we call ourselves the Inventors Company, and what that really means is we're thinking about the little things, the value add features and functions that don't really cost anything, just take a little more time and thought to be a little more innovative. You can see in our logo here that we launched last year, you got a small circle and a large circle, which represents going from idea to product, or acorn to oak tree, right? So the idea here is we take these small ideas and we grow them up and we create these intelligent products. So I think what you'll see today is a few things. You're going to see just little details that make our products a little bit smarter, a little bit better. On the standalone controls, no front end, so no complex commissioning, very simple, straightforward commissioning process, very easy to install, and you're going to see really high value to your projects in terms of both the cost, the material cost, as well as the install time. I did want to mention, for those of you who might have missed the call last month, today's conversation is really going to be focused around our standalone controls as an alternative to digital controls. And we really promote the use of standalone controls where it makes sense because it is the most cost-effective way. We do offer a very robust and strong digital offering. The DCS, if you have any questions or interest in the DCS, please reach out to your regional sales managers. More than happy to get you educated and trained on how the DCS works and what makes it so special, especially from an install perspective. Using a two-wire non-polarized data bus, much simpler than Cat5 cables. Eliminates all those terminations that cause headaches in the field. We've got a terrific solution here, very easy and simple commissioning process. So would love to talk more about this, but whereas our competitors will push digital controls, which are a little bit more expensive because there's a lot more going on with them and a lot more complex to install, they'll push those in places where it's not really necessary. We like to take a mixed approach and only use digital where it's absolutely necessary. What we really want to focus on is driving value on your project, keeping the cost down, and making it simple and easy to install. So let's turn over here to the standalone, and a couple of things that make our standalone controls just that much more innovative. Give you a little example here before we dive into it. You can see the Steinel lens, right? This is the IR Quattro HD, the industry standard lens on the right there. That's what we call the Clader lens. It's a little round lens which has either 48 or 96 points of detection, depending if you get the high density or the regular version. But if you look on the left, you can see those etchings on that lens give you so many more points of detection. Plus, we put 4 pyroelectric sensors underneath that instead of just 1. So we get 4,800 points of detection, whereas competitive product is giving you about 48, right? And you can see that lens on Wattstopper, Leviton, Lutron. Essentially the whole industry has standardized on this really poor lens. And what we've done is just given you a little bit smarter, better designed lens, gives you much better coverage. And it's also a square coverage pattern, duh, right? Rooms are square. So this gives you coverage to the corner of the room, whereas the round lens entirely misses the corner and has huge gaps throughout the space. So just an example of how our sensor technology is significantly better. The US hallway, another great example. You can see there we've got those little tweeters, those little conical apertures for the ultrasonic. And what that does is it takes the sound waves and projects them a long way down a hallway in a very tight pattern, only 6.5 feet wide. So we get a long coverage range for a hallway without getting leakage into the adjacent spaces. So if you've got conference rooms or offices or classrooms coming off the hallway, we don't get signals going into those spaces and giving you false triggers on the hallway. So again, just a real simple little design concept that makes our product significantly better than what the competitors have out there. Just a couple of examples of our type of innovation. At this point, I think we'll go ahead and I'll turn it over to Sean Stefaniak, who will walk you through some of the advantages to our Control Pro series and the simplicity of it and how it's much easier, more effective in the field than the alternatives. So Sean, take it away.
All right, thank you very much. Before I dive into all of that, I did have a slide on the wall switches here. Again, some of the innovation that Sean mentioned that Steinel has, the passive infrared lenses and all of our standalone wall switch sensors is actually custom made out of rubber. So as opposed to seeing the cracks, the pokes, the pries, all of the ripped passive infrared lenses on the standard wall switches out in the marketplace, our passive infrared custom made rubber one reforms back to shape when you push it, you poke it. So it is a lot harder to vandalize. We also have the ability to do true three-way dimming with all of our standalone wall switch sensors. So as opposed to the master auxiliary setup you see in the marketplace, we can have one sensor switch on each side, dim up to 45%, walk to the other side and dim down from 45%. Really an awesome feature to have, especially when you don't need a full-on ceiling mount sensor or anything of that nature. So all of this innovation we have, what's the benefit to you? Why does that really help you out? As Sean mentioned, with our Quattro series sensors, we do have that square coverage pattern. That square coverage pattern really benefits us in a couple ways. Again, as you mentioned, most rooms are square, but it really helps in open areas where there's overlap required. So your standard 360-degree sensor requires a significant amount of overlap, as you can see in the example down here below, to get a complete coverage. As opposed to this square, everyone knows two squares kind of butt up against each other a lot easier than two circles do. So overall, you're using less sensors because A, we have larger coverage pattern, and B, we do not require that significant overlap as your 360-degree sensors do. Two pictures above here just show an example of utilizing 360-degree sensors compared to our square IR Quattro HDs. You can see we use less than half of the sensors in that open office area. Another mention Sean had is, we do pitch the DCS. The DCS is a great product, but where network solutions or digital solutions are not required, we have a fantastic solution for that. An example here of a digital solution with a room controller, a digital switch, plug load control, multiple sensors, and a daylight sensor. All of that is able to be done utilizing our standalone components, so 18.3 from sensor to power pack, because our DIM24 sensors have 0 to 10 volt wirings coming out of them. So now we can manually dim two zones utilizing two DIM24 sensors. Utilizing our TR200 power packs, we can also have that lighting load controlled with a power pack and a plug load control with that power pack. We can have that set up in multiple variations, whether it all be occupancy or auto, or we can have the plug load control be auto and the lighting load be manual. Again, all of that is with simple standalone components. You take a look at the bottom left and you can just imagine the cost implications compared to what you see over here. Installation is also significantly easier here because we are not using that category cable. So no need to terminate a category cable. We've all done power packs and standalone solutions. So that is, again, easy installation. Commissioning wise, Very, very easy to commission our standalone components. We give two options here. All the dip switches on the back allow for that simple in-field installation commissioning, or we have a Bluetooth to IR remote. As you can see, it's just simple slide dimmers. We can change operating mode, light level settings for these dim 24s, partial on, partial off settings. And the installation into the ceiling or replacement of sensors is very simple. So if you happen to order a dual technology and you actually want a passive infrared sensor or vice versa, the wiring does not need to come off of the ceiling. You can simply clip off that sensor, the head comes off, and plug in the new one that you got. So no rewiring required as long as those sensors are the same. So dim 24s would have to be replaced by dim 24s. But again, commissioning is very, very simple. One of the biggest hiccups with room controllers is having a tech come out to site and commission there for you. We are able to do all of that on field utilizing these two situations. Savings. So savings is obviously the name of the game. We want to be able to give you a code compliant solution that meets specifications at the best possible price. As a brief example here, we are able to, in situations, the top right, eliminate that extra daylight cell or photo cell, because again, all of our dim 24s have photo cells built into them. So with that being said, we are able to eliminate that extra cell. Most of our competitors will then require a power pack for each daylight zone. We will not, because our sensors have that 0 to 10 right out of it. So we can control a daylight zone utilizing the specific daylight sensor in that occupancy sensor. And the hallway sensors are definitely my favorite sensor because of the partial off capabilities it offers. So in a corridor, you typically never want the lights to go off. Most of our competitors require a room controller. We are able to do 100% during occupancy mode and 50% during vacancy mode, utilizing just standalone components. So simple 18.3 wire, power pack, sensors, and then obviously utilizing our Bluetooth to IR remote there for the ease of commissioning in field. No room controllers required for the simple standalone setup. And on top of that, so we offer, same day shipping if orders are placed by 1 p.m., 24 to 48 hours in terms of layouts, significant cost reductions in place of a digital platform. All of our sensors have wiring diagrams right on them. So installation when you're up on the ladder is extremely easy. Fast and easy commissioning, everything you mentioned or everything you see here. The biggest thing is our mathematical equation, right? Larger coverage patterns from our sensors equals less sensors required, which means less wiring, which means less labor, which means overall savings for the end user or the contractor. That's presentation. I'd be more than happy to open it up to any questions.
All right. Well, I'll take this opportunity to plug our tech team. So those of you who are using our services will know that our tech team is providing free layouts. For all these different applications, we recommend very application-specific sensors, but we're more than happy to lay that out for you. If you've got a job you've won, a design build job where you can control the spec, we're more than happy to take a look at it and value engineer it for you, provide you a quote on that, as well as a full submittal package if you need to go back to an engineer with it. So our tech team provides a full package of design services, whatever you need in order to realize those cost savings that we can bring you. So you can just email us at tech@steinel.net. There's the 800 number. Additionally, if you'd like more information, a larger presentation, a little deeper dive on all the things we can do. We like this little micro webinar format where we try to keep it to 15 or 20 minutes, but we do have a 60-minute and longer versions of this. If there's more information required or an interest in doing a lunch and learn for you and your team, please reach out to your regional sales manager. If you don't know who your regional sales manager is, you can reach us at sales@steinel.net. Or if you go to the website, steinel.net, you can also find our rep network and connect with your local representative in your home market. Jen, while I was plugging our tech team, any last questions come in?
Yes, we have one. What's the current average turnaround time for layouts?
As of this morning, we were at 24 to 48 hours. We're pretty much caught up. We do have some overflow layout capacity that we've brought on board. So as we get more projects, we can ramp up a little bit. We've been averaging, I'd say, over the last few weeks, probably half the time 24 to 48, half the time 48 to 72 hours. But I would say right around 48 hours, you can expect that at any given moment. Of course, depending on the size and scope of the layout. If it's an entire school district or a 14-story building, obviously we'll need a little more time than that.
Thank you. Another question. Does the smartphone commissioning work on all sensors?
So everything that you saw in the presentation today, all of our Control Pro sensors, as well as our wall stations, the switches that Sean was referring to, are all commissionable via the app.
All right, thank you. Another one. Can you go over the daylight harvesting in standalone mode once again?
Yeah, before Sean jumps in on this and gets into the detailed version, if you look very closely at the DIM 24 sensor there's three little dots along the side. The center dot there is a photocell. So that is a closed loop photocell looking down at the surface below it. And Sean, why don't you share just a little bit more about how we commission that?
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's commissioning is extremely simple. We do have the light level settings right in that app, and believe it or not, it's actually the picture right here where we do set that setting. So again, as you guys know, the light that is seen by that photo cell or that closed loop photo cell, the 0 to 10 volt wires on that dimming sensor will then adjust the lights based off of the settings that we input on our IR remote. It is adjustable. Again, Sean mentioned the app is available. It's a free app, so we can adjust something like that at any time. But very easy commissioning, very easy to do, very easy setup.
Thank you, Sean. And another question. How do you handle emergency lighting in corridors when emergency power is on?
Yep, so if it's on an inverter, we do have a third-party UL 924 listed emergency device that we use for and with emergency power. So obviously when power goes out, that will trigger the lights to turn on to 100% to meet code compliance.
Thank you. Can the occupancy be turned off so that it is used only as a photocell?
Unfortunately, no. The photocell requires occupancy mode. So someone has to be present in the area for the photocell to be active. We do, again, with the DCS, have just a standalone photocell. So again, we can get into that and get with your regionals and we can talk about that standalone photocell, but with the standalone components, it does require occupancy.
Okay, and then how about a generator on emergency?
Yep, so again, if inverter, we UL 924, generator, we have a UL 1008. So we do have the ability to utilize or do both.
Okay, thank you. That seems to be all the questions.
All right, wow, and right on exactly 20 minutes, which is our target for these. So once again, thanks everybody for making a little time to come out and learn a little bit about how we can help you with your design build projects. Again, please give us the opportunity to work out a layout for you and provide you a quote, and let's see if we can't drive some value into your business. With that, I'll say thanks to everybody and stay safe. Look forward to seeing you soon. Bye now.